Well, lights, camera, action. How are you doing tonight, watu wangu? I know yesterday we had an action-packed bulletin, of course, with the boxing that was happening, and I was not here in studio. Niliona message zote niliziona. Well, thank you so much for tuning, of course, tonight, right here on TV47 Weekend Edition. My name is Betty Kyallo, and of course, tonight we have a fantastic show lined up for you. Apart from the news, of course, from across the country, of course, we also have Say What? Say What is coming up, and you know what? Over the months, actually, since we started Say What earlier this year, we have really been discussing things that have actually changed the family landscape, social landscape. We've seen your messages, and we really appreciate each and every one of them. The lives that our conversations here on these couches actually have changed. We say thank you. And you know what? Tonight, we are putting on the map something very serious, a serious issue, very sensitive one that actually has come up on social media actually for a very long time. But this last week, maneno imechemka. I remember I'm sure you saw, of course, the former governor of Nairobi, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, of course, talking about and explaining and showing us, you know, life situations of his daughter. And that just elicited a whole debate about domestic violence. And so tonight we want also to just put that on the phone. We have a fantastic, you know, combination of guests. We have Pastor Sue. Of course, he's a pastor. He's a life coach. He's a mother to a lot of us, of course. And oh my goodness, I'm already thinking about Solano. And of course, Solano, who's also a life coach and a couple coach too. All right, so it's going to be an amazing show. Also, because we are really glad and grateful that we got to have two survivors who are going to be sharing their experiences. We have Winfred and Sylvia Kerubo. They're going to be joining us right here in studio to just share with us, of course, what they've actually been going through and how they actually managed to come out of it. So like I mentioned, it's going to be a very different kind of Say What, dealing with the serious issues that are affecting so many women and men out there. But let's first start with the highlights. Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and his convoy attacked after armed assailants ambushed them in Chwele Ward, Kabuchai, Bungoma County. 6 passengers lost their lives in a grisly accident in Ngoluni, Mboni, Makueni County. The Ministry of Health has activated surveillance and emergency response measures following a confirmed Marburg virus outbreak in Ethiopia. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Very glad and happy to have you joining us here on the show. Our sign and language interpreter tonight is Valino Wino. Let's begin with our top stories tonight. And tensions in Bungoma have escalated after Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and Kabuchai Member of Parliament Majimbo Kalasinga accused National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula of allegedly sponsoring armed groups that attacked them during a campaign stop in Chwele Ward. Now, the two leaders who were drumming up support for the independent candidate Eric Wekesa said the violence was orchestrated to intimidate voters, calling on the IEBC to immediately disqualify Ford Kenya candidate Vincent Maunda. The confrontation left 2 people shot and 2 others hacked with pangas, pushing the campaign trail into chaos and spilling over to vandalism at MP Majimbo's home. Take a look.
Political rivalry between National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Kabuchai MP Majimbo Kalasinga spilled over to the campaign trail in Chwele, where the MP and Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya said they came under attack from armed goons. Several other people were also struck with crude weapons, throwing the campaign event into panic and chaos.
The gunshots of the day aimed at killing me. The gunshots of the day aimed at killing Natembeya and Wangamati. And the guns of today, the extension of the guns, which has come today to destroy my house.
Governor Natembeya and MP Majimbo, who escaped the incident unharmed, blamed Wetangula for the attack, claims Wetangula is yet to respond to, and are now calling on the IEBC to disqualify Ford Kenya Chwele Ward candidate Vincent Maunda from next week's by-election. They also accused police of watching as the attack unfolded.
Kumtoa Wetangula kama speaker wa National Assembly. Mtu anakuwa chama na chama cha Ford Kenya na ujumbe wa 5, alafu anakuwa speaker. Uweze kuwa referee wa timu mbili na umevaa uniform ya timu moja. If IEBC works within the law, if this destruction of my house, the burning down of my hotel 2 weeks ago, it warrants IEBC to remove the name of Vincent Maunda of Fort Kenya from the ballot paper.
Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Dr. Fred Matiang'i has blamed President William Ruto for what he termed as instigating political violence for short-term political gain.
Sasa leo asubuhi wamepiga gavana Mutembea akiwa kwa kampeni huko Kabuchai. Na uwezi kuniambia nilikuwa kwa usalama, uwezi kuniambia county commissioner, county security team, county police commander, regional police commander, regional security team hawajui nini ilifanyika huko. And if you see a government in office is resorting to violence itself, is coordinating rules and bribing citizens, that is the beginning of the end. That is it.
Matiang'i, who spoke in Kisii County, also urged the IEBC to address what he described as unlawful electoral practices by Kenya Kwanza ahead of the 3 ward by-elections in Nyamira County. Apul Kamau, TV47.
For that, now with just hours to the close of the official campaign window, political factions are in all-out sprints to secure last-minute support ahead of the November 27th by-elections. Well, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki pitched camp in Mbeere North, urging residents to back the UDA candidate Wamudende, while accusing the opposition, led by his predecessor Rigathi Gachagua, of engaging in dirty tactics. While Gachagua, on the other hand, led door-to-door campaigns for DP candidate Neuron Karish, branding him a transformative leader. Meanwhile, the broad-based government allies intensified their rallies in Malava, with Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi throwing his weight behind David Ndakwa. Our senior political reporter Elizabeth Mutsugu has the details.
With the clock ticking towards the 27th of November by-elections for 22 seats and the campaign period drawing to a close, political parties are leaving no stone unturned in their bid to win support. All parties and political divides have camped in various regions, rallying voters behind their preferred candidates. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki hit the campaign trail in Mbeere North, urging residents to consider Leo Wamudende for strong leadership.
Niambia Rais Ruto aje, wacha nione two term. Naye Mudende aende bunge. Ama namna gani? Mudende aende bunge.
This is as also he criticized the opposition led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, accusing them of spreading divisive politics and lacking a clear agenda for the country.
Kuna watu wanazunguka hapa wakienda kwa sijui nini, na nimeona wako na tabia mbaya kwa sababu ni watu wazee kama mimi, lakini wanaingia kitchen ya kina mama. Huku kwetu mwanaume ukishatairiwa uwezi ingia kitchen. Kwani unataka kuona uchi ya mama yako ama unaenda nini kitchen?
And for the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua intensified his campaigns in the final stretch, campaigning door-to-door on behalf of the united opposition candidate under the DP party. He emphasized the importance of electing leaders who resonate with needs of Kenyans. Gachagua's ally and former Attorney General Justin Biden Muturi alleged a plot by opponents to rig the elections, urging the IEBC to take action. In Malava, campaigning was equally intense. Kenya Kwanza leaders, including Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Speaker Wetangula, campaigned for the UDA candidate David Ndakwa for the Malava seat, while opposition led by Governor George Natembeya rallied support for DAPK candidate Seth Panyako.
Mtu ya fujo apelekwe nyumbani. Watu ya Malava mnasema namna gani? Tunataka Malava iwe na amani na iwe na upendo ya watu.
Msikubali ati tuondolewe hapa. Ama nyinyi mkubali ati tuondolewe alafu wengine wakuje. Msifikiri watu wanalala kisiasa bana.
Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Thanks, Elizabeth. President William Ruto has dismissed growing media scrutiny over the achievements he highlighted during his State of the Nation address, saying fact-checking will not derail what he describes as his irreversible mission to transform Kenya into a developed nation. As Samira Mohammed tells us, the president also challenged his critics to present their development agenda to Kenyans rather than what he termed the politics of anger and division.
It was his first public address following his third State of the Nation address. The president used the address to dismiss growing media scrutiny over the achievements he highlighted, saying debates over statistics were secondary to what he termed visible progress across the country.
Niliona juzi wakati nilitoa taarifa yangu ya State of the Nation address. Vyombo vya habari walikuwa wanahangaika. Wengine wanasema sijui Ruto amesema, sijui wale watu wanafanya kazi affordable housing, sijui ni 450, sijui ni 600,000, sijui ni ngapi, ati numbers are conflicting. Hiyo ni sawa. At least we agree on one thing. Hamukuamini ya kwamba inawezekana.
Following his State of the Nation address on Thursday, several media houses fact-checked his statements, verifying the information about the projects and figures the president shared with Kenyans.
Arguing about which number is right, statistics, hiyo ni sawa. At least we have settled one thing, that something is happening in our country. Transformation is happening in our country. We can argue on the numbers, we can argue on the statistics, we can argue on this or the other, but we all agree that we are moving forward as a country.
On Thursday, President William Ruto reiterated that his flagship housing project will create nearly 600,000 new jobs in 2026. However, official data on the completed housing and job creation presents sharp contradictions, raising questions about the project's actual progress and economic impact.
We are now arguing about numbers. Kama ni 400,000, kama ni 600, hiyo ni sawa. Tuendelee kuongea tu hapo. Lakini kazi inafanya nini? Kazi inaendelea. Na vijana wako wapi? Wako kazini.
The president also took a swipe at opposition leaders, dismissing them as average thinkers with no clear agenda for the country. He challenged them to present their development plans to Kenyans rather than relying on the politics of hate and division.
Usimangamange tu hapa ukisema one term, Kasongo, must go. Hiyo ni ujinga. Ama namna gani? Tueleze sera yenu kama kweli mko na akili. Kama hamuna sera, hamuna mpango, hamuna agenda, alafu mnatuambia ati mko na akili. Akili yenu ni ya kufanya nini?
And today, the president was not short of making his usual promises to the people of Kisii.
Kutoka kule Nairobi, tunataka tufanye dual carriageway, highway kubwa ya kutoka Rironi kuja mpaka Nakuru, ifike Mau Summit, moja iende Eldoret, Malaba, ingine ikuje hapa, ikuje Kericho, ingine iende Kisumu, hiyo ingine itoke Kericho, ikuje Kisii, itoke Kisii, iende Migori, iende mpaka Isabenia, na pia kutoka hapa daraja mbili, tukate iende Ahero, iungane na Kisumu.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
Now to some devastating news. 6 passengers have died in a grisly road accident at Sunguluni in Boni, Makueni County. 11 others, including an 8-year-old boy now fighting for his life in the ICU, were rushed to Makueni Sub-County Hospital after a lorry rammed into a stationary matatu at a stage. Now, the matatu driver is admitted, while the lorry driver fled the scene and is being sought by police. Suzanne Locho reports.
At Ngoluni, a usually quiet trading center in Boni, a normal evening rush hour turned into scenes of chaos and panic. A matatu, moments away from departing for Tawa and Machakos, was suddenly struck from behind. 6 passengers passed on, with 11 survivors rushed to Makueni Sub-County Hospital.
Kuna wale wamepata serious injuries, zile zinaitwa fractures, head injuries, na wengine wamepata zile tunaita soft tissue injuries.
Na kuna mmoja amevunjika miguu yote miwili na kuna vidonda, huyo tunampeleka theater saa hii kuosha hivyo vidonda, alafu baadaye atarudishwa kwa ward.
Among them, an 8-year-old boy now fights for his life in the ICU, and the matatu driver, whose routine journey took a devastating turn, remains in shock.
After kukuja jana jioni, nilikuja jana saa 2, by saa 4 tukapata, already nimeshapata wawili. Huyu mwenye wa Makueni Boys, mtoto mwingine anaitwa Dan, ako grade 1. Sasa naendelea nikuwa nasa wawili.
Police are scouting the area for the lorry driver who fled the scene, leaving behind questions and a stack of reminder of the high cost of road negligence in Kenya.
Mimi kusema kweli hiyo ndereva simuelewi, alikuwa anaendesha gari vibaya. Alikuwa anaendesha na mwendo wa juu. Hata tukirudi akaenda hivyo tu. Tulijipata huko tumeshakongana.
Susan Locho, TV47.
Well, Paul, sana to all the families that have been affected by this, and a quick recovery to that child and the others. Now, investors and financial experts have convened in Nairobi for the 5th Economic Empowerment Conference, an annual gathering that draws participants from across Kenya and the region. Well, this year's session centered on strengthening financial literacy, improving pension awareness, and examining how digital tools continue to reshape personal and business finance. All speakers noted that while online platforms offer vast financial content, many people are still struggling to make sound decisions because the information is overwhelming or unreliable. Well, they emphasize the need for credible, verified sources when navigating investment choices.
What we're doing is that we're trying to humanize our financial services to the extent that we're then able to provide products and services as ABSA, which is on net with what the customer needs are, and basically address those customer needs.
Savings statistics in Kenya are that the Kenyans who are saving for retirement are more the ones in the formal sector. And this translates to, out of total working class Kenyans, this translates to about 26% of them.
So the gaps in East Africa and generally is that people are happy to be consumers, to own a revenue, to get a revenue and consume all of it, and not really to own. And what I said also is that as banks or companies in the financial industry, our role is to enable the ownership.
You will get those funds tax-free. So there is the informal sector, and so there is need for us to reach out to them to ask ourselves, and it's out there in the economy, generating the interest of the nation. And then lastly, we are...
Thank you so much, Robert. Let's appreciate him.
You do that until they're 18. You connect social. So it's very, very important to get a last expense cover, to get the minimum they should handle the return on savings. You will get those funds tax-free. So there is the informal sector, and so there is need need for us to reach out to them, to ask ourselves, and it's are out there in the economy, generating the interests of the nation. And then lastly, we are...
All right, and let's get into some sporting action. Sport Pesa League action intensified earlier today as KCB edged Mara Sugar 1-0 in a tightly contested match. Bandari and Bidco United played to a goalless draw, while Gor Mahia stunned Tusker with a 1-0 victory to cement their lead at the top of the standings. While Police FC also claimed a narrow 1-0 win over Mathare United. Attention now shifts to Sunday's fixtures, with Kakamega Homeboys facing Poster Rangers, Kariobangi Sharks taking on AFC Leopards, Muranga tackling Shabana FC, and Sofapaka hosting Ulinzi Stars. Gor Mahia currently leads the table with 19 points from 8 matches.
Funga bao la mapema na wakaweza kulizuia mpaka dakika ya mwisho, wakapata alama 3 muhimu. Lakini yote 9, hii ni jambo ambalo tunafaa tulirekebishe mapema kama Tusker. Unajua msimu huu timu ziko imara zaidi. Kwa hivyo tukiweza kuchangia timu zingine mabao, inatuweka katika nafasi mbaya zaidi. Kwa hivyo it's high time tuamke na tufanye kazi inavyofaa.
I mean, we didn't do well. We didn't play as we wanted to play because the opponent played on the high. Made it difficult for us. It wasn't a good match for us, but what was important was to win, and we've gotten the 3 points. Sometimes you have to win games like that. You have to win ugly. No, it wasn't luck. Obviously, probably you might be talking about a goal. You know, it's something from their own mistakes. The chances we created was not a full chance that we could say it's a chance for us to score. And so we struggled a little bit, but honestly, it's good. If we had drawn, would not be good. If we had lost, would be very, very, very bad. And so we are happy with the 3 points.
Now, Kenya's Harambee starlets have kicked off preparations for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations with renewed energy under head coach Beldine Odemba. Well, the returning continental contenders are making their first WAFCON appearance in 9 years after eliminating Gambia 4-1 on aggregate in October qualifiers, while starlets are gearing up for crucial friendly tests against Algeria on November 26th and November 30th in Bleda. The 16th edition of the biannual championship is scheduled for March 17th to April 3rd, 2026 in Morocco.
Mood kwa camp iko poa na tuko well prepared kuenda kucheza na Algeria on Wednesday na najua tutashinda. Mafan pia nawaambia mtu support kwa TV, hata kama mtakuwa pia mtu support sana, tuko na nyinyi na tutawaangusha.
Tunaenda kujituma kama mimi. Tunataka kuja na results. Mafans waendelee tu kushabiki. Kwa pamoja na sisi tutajituma vizuri.
Nairobi lived up to the hype last night as a highly anticipated nightmare in Nairobi boxing showdown lit up the Marsals Arena, marking a spectacular debut for Color Coded Promotions. Friday fight nights on Kenyan soil. Now, the electric atmosphere, packed stands and deafening cheers set the tone for an unforgettable evening as elite fighters from Kenya, Tanzania, the DRC, South Africa and the United Kingdom stepped into the ring. The headline bout saw former WBC world champion Fatuma Zarika deliver a masterclass of precision and dominance, securing a decisive victory and reminding fans why she remains a boxing icon.
Wakati unafanya zoezi uko fit and at least uweze ukaonyesha mchezo mzuri kwenye ring. Juu ukiangalia opponent pia na train na hakuna mtu yote mwenye anataka kushindwa, kila mtu anataka kushinda. So inakuwa unasema hapa ni lazima uko fit. Hakuna kuenda hapo ukiwa hauko fit.
Ushindi vile nilikwambia hata maliza round 8. So
Tamanio langu bado msemo wangu ni vipi? Message yangu inaenda kule Tanzania kule. Kuna yule kijana anaitwa Hassan Mwakinyo yule. Wewe ndio unamtaka next huyo. I want Hassan Mwakinyo. Naambia mapromoter wa Tanzania wakamu AK fight. Na kama hawana hela wakuja basi tuwapatie hela kama hawana hela. Tuweka fight hapa Tanzania. Maana tunataka ili pigana lifanyike. It's going to be the biggest fight in East Africa ever. Apewa chance ya kucheza Commonwealth. Sasa si hiyo game next ya Kalakoda sinacheza Commonwealth. So ushindi utabaki hapa. Siwezi kubali title fight itoke hapa Kenya. Yes.
Well, let me tell you for sure, it was action-packed. I was there. And I was so happy at least to have a day off from work and work from a place that, you know, there was so much good energy and I really enjoyed. And I hope that, you know, we're going to have more of this. Of course, actually, they promised us that they're going to have more of this Friday fight nights. And we'll be there as TV47, of course, to bring you all the action. All right? So now, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we have a very interesting conversation. Like I've said, say what over the months this year has proudly, you know, just brought up issues to do with our society, family, marriage, relationships. And tonight, I'm so happy. Pastor Suniaje, unakafiti. She looks like a flower. Look at her, all the colors in Nini. Hey, you look amazing. Oh my goodness. Of course, Pastor Sue is here. We have Salano. Baby, where's our big girl? Yes. And I watch Hi Beryl from home with the kids and everybody. And of course, we have our two amazing guests. We have Winfred. Say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. All right, Winfred is there. She's going to be joining us, of course, like you've seen. And we also have Sylvia. Salimia to camera hivo chap chap. All right. So guys, remember tonight we have a very interesting but very important conversation. We're talking about domestic violence and how it's affecting families, it's affecting human beings, people, you know, men, women, children, the whole family, the whole society. It has been a very big conversation, of course, online, and we continue, of course, to make the big step. Also as TV47 and as Say What to be part of this very important and sensitive conversation. So I'd want you to, of course, join us, talk to us, you know, chime in, feedback, talk to us if you are going through it, if you survived it and you won, you know, that battle. We'd love to hear from you tonight. Let's take a short commercial break. We'll be back.